Hey, yo, it's me, Pops Van Marmalade, and you're watching the Comics-Related Madness Network. Uh-huh. So come get some. CromCon. CromCon.
Your favorite podcast is Critical Blast.
Hi, this is Tim TK, host of That Silverline Show on Tuesday. Join us at 11 p.m. Eastern, 8 p.m. Pacific every Tuesday night as we discuss pop culture and the joys of making comics.
And I'm Scott Wakefield, host of Silverline's Wednesday Wham, where we talk about comic books and all kinds of great storytelling, sometimes with incredible guests. And we want you to join us Wednesday nights from 8 to 9 p.m. Eastern. We'll see you there.
I'm Roland Mann, and I host Silverline's Silver Sunday. Join me every Sunday at 8 p.m. Eastern as we make mine Silverline. Hello, everyone, and welcome to the Tuesday. No, I'm trying to do Tim TK. I'm not doing a very good job of it. That Silverline Show on Tuesday.
That is a different take on Tim.
yeah. Well, so I've been doing all the I've been doing a lot of the archive stuff for the podcast and for the replays, the late night replays, and that's the Tim used to do the Wednesday. Wow.
Gotcha.
Yeah. So. Anyway, so yeah, this is that Silverline Show on Tuesday. I am not Tim TK. Tim is taking a much needed break. So I'm stepping in to fill the huge shoes of Tim TK and the Tuesday night crew. So how are you, Jose?
I'm doing well.
Good. I think this will be the first like official whole stream that you and I have been on together, isn't it?
Other than when you gamed with us.
Oh
Halloween.
yeah, I forgot about that. Yeah, that was fun. I would do that again.
So we're putting it on the books.
Oh, cool, very
Yeah,
cool. Same
Tim was
game or
talking about
different
it,
game?
and we were talking about it, and Vic had hopped on and was mentioning about, I never played that before. I was like, we might have to get rolling in here again.
Yeah, that was fun. Of course, I tell people, what. Willie Peppers, dead coming. Willie, I owe you stuff. Willie Peppers says, "What's up, guys? What's up, Willie? Willie, please know that I have not forgotten about you. I wish I'm not going to step away because I have short pants on and you don't need to see my legs. But where is my folders? I said I had them right there. I lied. I've got, here they are. I have got folders, Willie, of stuff of stories that I'm working on. I'll give you a really quick view of one. Let's see, what can I show? Vipers and cat and mouse. So anyway, I got stuff I'm working on, Willie, and so I have not forgotten about you. Because I'm counting on you. You said you were up to drawing, Willie, and so I'm counting on you. Jose, if you don't know, Willie is a fantastic penciler. Did a little bit of stuff for me back in the day at Malibu, and I'm sorry, Willie. I know Willie's done a whole bunch of stuff. I don't really know what's kind of kept him busy over the years, but I really, really dig his stuff. So
That's super cool.
I would love to do something with him again. He almost long story short. See if I can keep it short. He almost was the artist for the second volume of Cat and Mouse back in the 90s. We were going to relaunch Cat and Mouse with the Ultraverse, and with Malibu first, and then with the Ultraverse. And Willie actually penciled a 4-page story that came out in Ultraverse. Malibu Sun, which was a monthly kind of a giveaway promotional item for Malibu, and inked by Jeff Whiting.
Nice.
Very good. It looked so good. It was just a little 4-page preview, and I'm trying to find. I'm trying to find the ink. Jeff had them at one point in time, but he can't find them. And when we do the omnibus, I'm going to try to include those pages in the
Nice.
omnibus
That's
because,
cool.
yeah. Anyway, I'm a big fan of Willie's stuff. So, dude, he's heard me say this before. Dude needs to be drawing. His work needs to be seen. Anyway, so what was I saying before Willie said hi? Games.
Role playing.
Yeah. So I never played a lot of D&D. Okay, I played some, but I never played a lot. But what I did play is I played a game called Super World, which is basically D&D with superheroes.
That's the early version of Mutants and Masterminds.
I don't know. Is it?
Yeah, I'm pretty sure.
Really?
Yeah.
Okay. Well, I know at the time there was Super World. There was a game called Champions, and then there was also Villains and Vigilantes.
Yeah, Villains and Vigilantes. Yeah.
Yeah. And I played all of them, but Super World was our favorite system. The system seemed to be less clunky than the others. Dude, we played that thing for 4 or 5 years straight. I've got notebooks full of all of our. I was both a game master, so we had for lack of a better word, we had the Avengers and the West Coast Avengers, right? And so I was the game master for the Avengers team, and then I was a player for the West Coast Avengers team. So, man, we had so much fun. We played that so much. God's honest truth, Demon from Cat and Mouse was actually one of the characters that I played sometime.
Oh, nice.
In that, yeah. And one of the funny, not funny, but one of the cool things is one of the stretch goals for the first Cat and Mouse campaign included role-playing sheets for Tooth and Nail.
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah. So that was kind of fun. Oh, I forgot I have my Kablam shirt on today. So anyway, so this is going to be a fun week this week. Thomas Fermonti and I will be at Coliseum of Comics on East Colonial Street tomorrow, starting at 5:00. So get off work, go down to Coliseum of Comics, and pick up the latest issue of Trump. You can also, which is the final issue, and you can also pick up Divinity #3. They've got a whole bunch of our other books there. I would encourage you to buy those copies because they are unique copies with their store logo on it. Tommy and I will also have some other stuff there as well. I don't know if Tommy would be doing sketches. I would imagine he would be if he wanted one. Right. And Saturday, Jose and I,
Or he wondered when he activate.
Yeah, right. So you're pointing the wrong way too, right? Jose and I will be appearing at Olo in Orlando for the entire day, and I am very much looking forward to sitting next to you, Jose, and talking comics all day long. So
yeah, that's gonna be a blast.
Yeah, it's gonna be fun. Oven says hello, Silverline family. What's up, Oven? Maybe we'll see Oven make it up to Olo. I know that's a bit of a trek for Oven to get to. And I haven't heard any dates on the Kissimmee show this year. Have you?
No.
Yeah, I haven't either.
Not.
So I know that one's.
Also was it Daytona Beach Comic Con? I think they posted the date for that.
Yes, Daytona Beach Comic Con, September 9 and 10, I think. Let me get my calendar real quick. I don't want to give the wrong dates.
Right.
I do already have it on my calendar though. So, the 9th and the 10th, December 9th and 10th. And I still gotta talk with him. Hopefully I get to talk with him. We'll get to see him on Saturday, I think. He'll probably be there at Olo. So
that's cool.
Yeah. So that's this week. What do you got in store after you've been doing a lot of shows, dude?
I've been trying to do a lot of shows. But I have Olo, and then May 6th, I'm one of the feature artists at my local library for Free Comic Book Day.
Nice. Sweet. Yeah.
And so I get to do a presentation a little bit. Like, she's, oh, could you do a presentation on what you do? I'm like, I do everything. How much time you got?
You're right.
But yeah, so I'm just gonna do a little presentation on. It's easier for me to do a presentation on coloring because I can show the layers digitally, and then she said she'll have a monitor there for me to like access my laptop with. So
Nice.
it'll be fun. And then my daughter's going to be there as well. And then after that, it's I believe the next one in line after that is June 3rd. It's Tampa Bay Toy and Comic Expo.
Okay, cool. Tommy and I'll be there.
Yeah, that'll be fun too. I have that on the 3rd, and then on the 1st, the 4th, I have Charlie's Horror and Sci-Fi Con. So like I'm doing back-to-back conventions. One's in Tampa and one's in Sarasota.
Oh my goodness, that's a long way to drive.
Yeah.
Hey,
well, not for me.
Well, you got to drive up to Tampa though, right?
Yeah. That's not that bad.
Yeah. Oh, okay. All right. Yeah, Tampa's I guess about 2 hours from me from here, so it's not a bad drive. But it's Adam Lore said, "Whoops, where's my mouse?" Adam Lore says, "Hey everybody, what's up, Adam?
Adam,
thank you for stopping by. I am not Tim TK. That's what I should have put on my my little
Tim
thing
TK.
there. Yeah, not Tim TK. Yeah. So you guys make your plans to come see us where you can. Salazar Art Nation says, "Hello everyone. How's everyone doing? Hello Salazar Art Nation. Nice to have you here." See, here's the funny thing. Our topic for tonight is burning the midnight oil. And this is what everybody's doing, right? People are burning the midnight oil, and they're tuning into us to see what we have to say. Oh, he says, "Hey, Frank." I guess Salazar Art Nation must be Frank. So that is what our topic is tonight. It's called Midnight Oil, and I figure we'll talk about a lot of different things. Because there's some people say, is the midnight oil better or some morning night? So like I'm looking at your setting there, and I'm not trying to get personal, but all the lights are off, right? so clearly it's nighttime, right? And now I got you can't see, but I'm in a room that I can close the door and turn my lights on. But it's 11:13 here, so not quite midnight,
right?
But I know, because you and I have swapped messages, I know that you tend to do much of your work at night.
I do.
So you want to talk about that? Just wait, hold on. Says, yes, I'm Frank, both in name and demeanor. That's good. We like being. It reminds me that and Frank is probably going to say, "Oh, you don't remind me of that commercial." But there's that commercial around here. Frank stands for friendly, reliable, something. This is Frank, and this is Frank, and we're all Frank, right? So I don't remember the exact commercial. Royal Airlines says, "I've confirmed that I'll be teaching a college class on the This is cool, on the comic graphic novel production process this
That's
fall."
awesome.
That is so cool, Royal Airships. Now, where will you be doing that so those in your area can come and take your class? While he's typing up that answer, Jose, can we talk about burning the midnight oil for you and how that came about? Is it a preference? Is it a kind of a...
it's definitely a preference. Before I really started doing comics, I stayed up late anyway. You know what I mean? Just drawing on my own, I'd stay up late. But then when I started coloring comics, that was kind of the first thing I was doing. You know what I mean? Was coloring. I wasn't doing it right. As I've learned since going to art school, I wasn't doing it right, but I was doing it. And I would stay up late, but I also had kids early. So
yeah.
I would help my wife put the kids to bed, and then the rest of the night was mine. And so I usually stay up to like 3 o'clock, 4 o'clock in the morning.
Yeah.
And if I was really in a groove, I'd stay up until the sun came up, and then I'd be like, crap, I better go to bed before my wife got mad at me. And
I've been there, done that.
Right. And then when I started like when I moved to Florida, started working at the Walmart DC, and I specifically asked for like the evening shift. Like
What does
late
DC
shift.
stand for?
Distribution center. The Walmart
Oh,
distribution
gotcha.
center.
Okay, gotcha. Okay.
I worked the night shift, like the weekend shift and the night shift. It paid more, and I was up that time anyway.
Right.
So when I went to art school, I had to switch my pattern, and because I had to get up by 5 o'clock in the morning so I can get to school because it was an hour and 10-minute drive from where I lived in Pennsylvania. But it was cheaper than living in New Jersey.
Right.
So
Yeah.
a 1-bedroom apartment in New Jersey was $1,500 when I was there. And we had a 3-bedroom house with 3 acres of land that we were renting for $1,200.
Wow, that sounds nice.
Yeah, it was awesome.
Yeah.
Until the ice melted down my driveway and I got stuck. But since coming back home, you know what I mean, back to Florida, it just works for us. I don't like waking up in the morning, and so my wife actually she is a wake up at like 6 o'clock. She's up out of bed, like no matter what. And since she does that, she gets the kids ready, gets them to school, and then I pick them up in the afternoon. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And then
now all kids are school age, right?
Huh?
All of your kids are school age.
Yeah, but even when they weren't, like I'd have my baby on my lap while I was drawing. You know what I mean? I'd tape everything down so that I didn't have to move the paper.
Right. Yeah.
Oh,
wow.
Yeah, it was interesting, but like now I stay up late.
Well, I was gonna say, so what time do you normally get started now? Like on any given day.
What given day, I get started about 10, 11 o'clock in the afternoon, or like, you know what I mean, like noontime. Because I'll wake up at like 9, and then I want to eat because I'm diabetic, so I have to eat.
Oh, okay, yeah.
And so then I'll eat, and then I'll get going, just get my stuff. It's already usually set up from the night before, and then I go until about 2:30, and then I go get the kids, bring them home, get dinner stuff situated. So then about 6, I'm back to work at 6, and I'm pretty much there until like 2 o'clock or 3 o'clock at night.
Okay. Wow. Yeah, that sounds very, very similar. So let me run through some of these comments here.
Yep.
Royal Airships. Actually, Frank Salazar says that's awesome, Royal. And then Royal Airship says he's going to be teaching it at Ohio Dominican University. And then he said, to clarify, it's just one class, not a full course. Still, that's pretty cool that you get to come in there and teach the class. I haven't seen that commercial. I can't remember what. I think it's for some air conditioning thing locally, maybe. I'm not real sure about that, but it's kind of funny. Frank then says, at the moment, I'm editing a short drawing video that I'm uploading tomorrow. Also, I'm working on a speech that I'm going to give tomorrow in my local Toastmasters club. I'll be up for a while. Still awesome. Brittany Mann says, just popping in to say hello to my number one guy and my own personal superhero. I love you more, Brittany Mann. Thank you for stopping by. Royal said thanks. So
that was your daughter, right?
Yes, Brittany Mann is my daughter.
She sang to us for Christmas.
Yes, she did.
Well, we had the Christmas show, or not Christmas show, but Christmas thing.
Yeah. So I'll tell kind of my story about it, because I've always tended to burn midnight oil as well. Now, when I first got started as a freelancer, I had been married probably, I don't know, maybe a year. She said, also, hi there, Jose. Didn't mean to leave you.
That's okay.
So I had been freelancing for a little while. Or I'm sorry, I've been just been married. I want to say maybe a year. My wife went back to graduate school, which is at Mississippi State, which is where I met Dean Zachary. My routine was this, right? So she would get up and go to work at like 8 o'clock, right? I'd get up around 10 o'clock. I would get me a bowl of cereal, and I would sit. We had a big coffee table at the time, and of course we had this huge, big monstrosity of a television that sat on the ground, And so I would sit on the floor, the coffee table was my my table, and I'd sit there eating my bowl of cereal while I watched The Avengers.
Nice.
And I'm talking about,
Yeah,
you know,
about the British show.
the British show.
Nice.
I love that show. Yeah. And so I would do that. And then after the show, I would finish my, you know, my breakfast when the show was over. And then I would get to work. Generally, I was kind of getting things in order before I would go run errands. My wife would come home. We would have lunch. She would go back out, and then I would go run errands. Usually meant I, you know, went to the comic shop. I went to the copy shop. This was before, you know, we had all our scanners and everything. I went to the copy shop. I would go mail stuff out. I would check. We had a PO box. University had a PO. We lived on the campus, so I would go check the mail, and then come back home probably around 2:00, and then I would sit in and start writing. Right. So I'd write until she got home. So anywhere from like 5 to 7, depending on what was going on, you know, and for her. And then we would eat dinner, spend some time together. She might have to do some homework or head to bed. And then around 10 p.m., I would go back to work. And then I would work until, kind of like you said, around 2:00, maybe 3:00, something like that. Sometimes later. And that's just the kind of the routine that I developed. And it worked for us because it allowed me to still spend time with her while she was available, right? And see, part of the reason I didn't work, because some people say, well, why didn't you just go to bed at the same time and then get up when she did and work in the morning? And for me personally, I find it harder to work creatively when I first get up.
Yeah.
Right. And so the nighttime is when my brain tends to just really, 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 really move, you know.
And you can put your music on as loud as you want. I mean, I normally have headphones on anyway.
Well, you see, this is usually, I mean, I'm old school, buddy. I got 2 pair of these. Actually, this is my good pair. Actually, I have 3 pair of these. This is my good pair. My daughter gave me a few years ago.
That's cool. The
Yeah.
clamshells are always the best.
Oh man, because they just fit right over and yeah, and
like it just envelop you into it.
Yep. And so that's when I would crank the music up, and I have I don't know if I have it in here, but I have
for some reason the clamshells I have, like a friend bought me them. They don't work when I'm streaming. Like they always go all robotic. So
really,
I don't know what it is, but they're fantastic when I'm just sitting home listening to TV or listening to music.
Yeah, I thought I had another pair in here. I think I may have finally tossed one of the pair because they were all flaky and falling apart.
Yeah.
Royal Airship says Brittany has some pipes. Buy her music. I agree. You can find her on, for those who are curious, you can find her on most of the places you can find music, like Apple Music and Spotify and stuff like that. So please at least go give her some listen. So that just worked for me. And even the funny thing is, even then later on, when I got like a job, like when I took the job at Malibu, I had to be there at 9:00. You might have heard me say before, I'm not a morning person. I never had a hard time getting up for that job though, because it was a job that I loved.
Right.
It wasn't like I would wake up in the morning and dread it.
Oof.
Like I'm sure we've all had those kind of jobs. Like,
sure did.
Yeah. But I would still find that I would come home, spend time with my wife, and of course, then we added kids. And then when they all got to bed, I would sit down on my computer and go to work. And again, that like 10 to 2 range of about 4 hours has been kind of my for me personally, kind of my magic window of creativity. Look at this. David Rios says, wow, finally see some comments. I see Brittany's comments. David Rios, for those of you who don't know, you will be knowing as soon as he can find the time to finish it out. David Rios, as you guys know, we've been doing the remixes. David is coloring Demon's Tales.
Nice.
And yes, it looks so good. So
That's
yeah.
cool.
So hopefully he's still hearing me say this. I'm just I know that I'm not mad, not throwing any shade, David, but man, I'm so anxious for you to jump back on that. It really does look good.
Yeah, I love it when
push them up.
Haley starts posting up pictures on our whatever it is, Dropbox.
Yeah.
For the color pages every time. Man, makes me so happy to see them.
I mean, I'm a big. He says, I am hearing this. Good. I'm glad. Yeah, I'm anxious to see. I know he's had a lot of stuff going on. Kind of kept him away from the board, but I am hoping.
Listen, it happens. I was pretty much away from drawing. Since December and January.
Yeah, you had a rough December, January.
So
yeah.
I totally understand, David.
It happens.
Really.
It happens.
Yeah.
And this is one of the things, Jose, I don't talk a whole lot about this, but this is one of the things that for me is important about Silverline is that my big thing whenever I talk to somebody, it's always just, kind of consistency. It's like, it doesn't have to be done tomorrow. It's like, okay, we're talking about this project. It doesn't need to be done tomorrow, because we're not gonna put something on the schedule and then cause everybody else to panic. You know what I mean? It might be different if we were a bigger company and we had, lots of big money to hand out and throw out, but we don't. And so it's kind of like, okay, we got to do this. Well, we got to burn the midnight oil,
right?
To make it happen. And so it's kind of like, look, my thing is, you ain't got to do 6 pages a week like you're a full timer, but just kind of keep it out. But yeah, you kind of had a hurricane that interrupted you, and
that was rough. Like I said, I told everybody. And I would talk to about it with Leilani. I don't remember her name. She played one of the Ewoks in Mandalorian and Obi-Wan Kenobi. I told her, we were middle class homeless. Is how I refer to it as.
Right. Yeah.
So we definitely weren't going to take our kids to a shelter just because I didn't want my kids in a shelter, right? But we burned through a lot of our savings to like rent Airbnbs and hotels so that my kids had a decent place to their own bed to sleep in. So
you know what? If it had been me, and I'm not saying it wasn't me, so I'm not saying 100%. I'm sure I would have done this, but I think I might have been inclined to stay in a shelter one night,
just on principle.
Just on principle, to so the kids could say, "Hey, look, this is
how it could be.
This is how it could be. Be thankful that it's not that way." Again, I haven't been in that situation, so I can't say that I would have, because you had to make that decision. But I think just thinking about it, that might have been a good experience for everybody to have one time.
You're right.
Yeah.
Well, we'll think about it next hurricane.
Yeah. Well, let's hopefully that you don't have to.
Right.
You know what I mean?
That's
Roy
awesome.
says, Roy says, Haley might have a hand in some stretch goals for Steam Patriots. We'll just have to wait and see. Very cool. You know what, Royal, I got one I want to offer you too, a stretch goal. You can tell me no, but it's a short fiction piece that I wrote that I got nothing to do with it, So it's like, what do I do with it? I thought about turning it into a comic, but that's another story for another day. So Jose, do you think there is a quality of creativity better, one or the other? Midnight Oil or Morning Bird?
I think it depends, because if you have someone that is a morning person, I mean, they hit the ground running. You know what I mean? So like their motivation is like steady, and then towards the evening it kind of like dies. Yeah. But I am not a hit the ground running kind of guy. So like it takes me, even if I wake up early enough to spend a few hours at the table, I'm already fidgeting with everything around me. I'm not gonna get. I need to do something. Yeah. And something else gets in the way. I need to do something because I gotta stop. Right. Like dishes have to get done. I better get that done. Right. But like Like you see, it's dark. If I shut everything off, everything else around me is gone, and I focus on what I have going on right here.
That's actually pretty cool.
And I have 3 tables. Look, I have a drawing table there.
Yeah.
I got one right behind me, and the desk that my computer is on.
Wow, that's pretty cool.
So when we got this house, and we're renting this house, but when we were blessed to get this house, we have like a breakfast nook, right? Like it's directly across from the kitchen, and we have like a big dining room area and a big living room area. And it's the breakfast nook kind of divides it, and like, why would we ever put anything in here to have breakfast? We just eat at the table,
right?
You know what I mean? Like, I don't understand that logic. So I asked Deb, I was like, hey, and Deb is my wife, for anybody that doesn't know. I asked Deb, I was like, hey, can I have this breakfast nook area for my work area? And she's like, absolutely, as long as you stay there and work. I was like, that's not a problem. Well, that was the thing. Before I went to art school, I would get up, I'd go in the living room and sit down with her for a minute, and then come back and do something, and then go back, and I'd be distracted. But here, if I want to watch TV with her, I can still work at the desk and just turn around, or you know what I mean. If I want to watch what she's watching, or at least listen to it, and every now and then peek my head around the corner, I work on the desk behind me. You know what I mean? And it's just a regular elevated drafting table. And then the one I have over here, Pete gave me. Like before, when we left art school, he's like, I can't take it with me, so
you can't take it back. Yeah. Oh wow.
So and it holds like it holds 4 11 by 17 Bristol boards.
Good grief.
Yeah, I could do a 4-page gate cover on that thing.
Wow. You know what? I don't guess I ever thought about that, but yeah, he if he gets the table while he's here, he can't take it back with him, can he? Yeah, or I guess it wouldn't be easy to anyway.
Right. So like that was a blessing from Pete, and the one behind me came from my wife's father, or sorry, my wife's grandfather. He had a drafting table. It's a fold-up one, so like the legs fold in and it closes in. It becomes really flat. So if I wanted to take it somewhere, I could, but I don't want to risk damaging it because it was his.
Yeah. Royal says, okay, drop us your idea. Do you want a pure story of your own, or can we eviscerate it and meld it to our own? No, there will be no eviscerating. So I often hear people kind of you make the arguments. I say often, sometimes hear people make the arguments that your best work is done in the morning, and of course, like you, I'm not a morning person.
Yeah.
I mean, now I can get up and go to work, don't get me wrong, but I don't feel my brain is fully. I don't drink coffee, to begin with.
I'm so sorry. I do, and it's lovely. I'll let you know if you ever miss it. I'll remind you.
Okay. Well, my coffee comes in the form of a cold.
Nice.
My caffeine, I should say, for Cokes. I am way too addicted to Coca-Cola.
Yeah, everything diet. For me, it's everything diet. Or I'll drink Zevia. Zevia is a stevia sugared.
Sure, I know what that is.
Drink, right?
I drink those. Yeah.
Yeah, I drink those because I can't necessarily have sugar.
Yeah.
Even when I make sweet tea, I make sweet tea with stevia in the raw.
Yeah. Dude, I matter of fact, I think I have.
Yes,
that right there.
That's the soda.
Yeah.
Oh, that's the root beer. It's root beer.
That's the root beer. Yeah. That's the one. That's my Zevia of choice.
Nice.
So let's segue here. So you drink the diet colas?
So I only if I'm going out somewhere. Like if I go out to a restaurant, I'll get like a diet and a water.
Okay.
You know what I mean? And I'll drink both.
Well, so I used to, and I only say this because I used to drink Diet Cokes like crazy, but I got a lot of headaches. And
Is that the aspartame in it?
Yes, exactly. Yeah. And so my wife met, I don't know, she met somebody, a doctor on an airplane or something, and she was telling, my husband gets headaches and they're really bad, blah, 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 blah. And she said, And she didn't. The doctor said, "Does he drink diet colas?" And she said, "Yeah, he drinks Diet Coke." She goes, "Have him stop for 3 weeks and see if it doesn't, make a difference." So my wife said this, and I'm like, "Yeah, that's stupid. It don't make any sense." I quit. My headaches went away by about 80%, and I'm like, "Okay, I'm sold."
That's kind of why I cut it with water.
Yeah, yeah. I drink water now just because other aging related issues. So I try to drink my water, but yeah, Coca-Cola is my addiction.
See, I drink Pepsi. Up north, I drink Pepsi.
Yeah, I'm sorry, I can't drink Pepsi. That's a Yankee drink, dude.
It is completely.
Pop said, "Hey, yo, what's up, Pops?"
Hey, Pops.
Willie Pepper says, "I am a Coke addict, but I keep getting ice cubes stuck in my sinuses." Okay, Willie. Being silly late at night. This is what happens. Ice cubes, Coke addict.
Oh.
Yeah. So I drink my extra Cokes without ice anymore. Nice. All right, Owen's got a question for us. It's gonna take us off topic a little bit, but that's okay. I think we've kind of talked about burning the midnight oil. Do you have anything else to say about it?
No, it just works for me. It really does.
Yeah. Same here. I think I think probably for me it was pre-kids, but once kids came around, it made all the difference in the world because I could work because it's the only time you can get quiet, right? When you got kids running around the house, they're noisy.
I can't put headphones on during the day. Like during the summer, I feel I get less work done during the summer
because the kids are home
unless they go to bed. Yeah. Because I can't put my headphones on and like just zone out and work. You know what I mean? Get in the zone because I have to listen for them or listen
to make sure no one's dying or fighting or anything like that. Before we get to this question, David says, "I like Coke Zero drinks."
Coke Zero is good too, but that still has aspartame. It has to have a flavoring or a sweetener in it that isn't sugar.
So it does have aspartame?
It does.
Sure. I didn't know that. I don't drink it, but I did not realize that.
It doesn't have that back. So if you ever, the first time you ever drink like Diet Coke, it's Diet Coke because you'll drink it and then there'll be like this aftertaste.
Right? Nasty. Yeah.
And once you drink them enough that you don't really taste it anymore.
Right.
But Coke Zero doesn't actually have that aftertaste.
Really?
Yeah.
That's interesting. Willie says, "I think it's because there are no distractions." Yeah.
Absolutely right, Willie.
Yeah. Yeah, absolutely. And I think that for me, when I had kids, that was particularly when they were younger. When they get older, you can just tell them to go away, But when they're younger, they've got to, you have to be aware. You can't just, like you said, stick your headphones on and ignore them. All right, let's talk about Owen's question. Owen says, "How do you feel about killing characters in books?"
I think it depends on the character. Like if obviously, so. I created a Gothic Western called Dark Redemption, right? I've only ever made one issue, like the first issue for it. I haven't gone any further for it. But the plan in that book is that, and I may never finish it, but the plan, the end of that book is that the protagonist dies at the end, right?
Okay. Yeah. Wow.
So I work it out to where he dies. That's how the story goes. But to kill off any other characters just randomly, if it's not in the plan for it to happen to the protagonist, I don't think you should kill off your protagonist. But I think it adds a bit of realism. You know what I mean? Or at least a sense of drama when you kill off a character, especially if it's a character that like your goal is for the reader to feel either empathetic or sympathetic to the character.
Yeah.
That particular character, like if you ever watched or read, I think it was, I want to say Garth Ennis's run on Punisher. I think that's the one that had Spacker Dave, right?
No.
There's a character called Spacker Dave. He had all these piercings on his face, and it's the Punisher storyline that the Thomas Jane Punisher movie was based off of.
Okay, yeah.
Okay. And Spacker Dave, like I actually like that character. He didn't really hardly ever say anything except for Spacker Dave, right? And but if they'd have killed off that character, like I'd have felt that one. I'd have been like, oh man, that sucks.
Yeah.
So I think if it serves a purpose in the story, I don't think there should be a problem killing off a character.
Yeah. I think what you just said, I think that's the key element. If it serves a purpose in the story. I think one of the things I think that part of the reason I have a problem with Marvel and DC these days is that death doesn't mean anything.
Right. Especially
know?
now that they
Yeah.
have Krakoa Island.
I don't even know what that is. What is that?
So now the main thing is
that
like
the
there's
pool,
an
the Lazarus
island,
pool?
Krakoa, the island, the living island, the mutant island, planet
Uh-huh.
island, or mutant island. It now is like one of their home bases, and the Krakoa tree can open up and let them teleport like anywhere, right? As long as there's another tree there. Krakoa Island also has these basically respawn points. Like in any game, it's a respawn point, right? So like if they die, they can just respawn in these pods on Krakoa Island. Like it literally has a respawn point now. Yeah, it's dumb.
Yeah,
I don't like it.
That's pretty stupid.
I think it's cool that they brought some characters back. Like was it Jamie Madrox? Or no, not Jamie Madrox. Jamie Braddock. They brought him back. Captain Britain's crazy psycho brother.
Yeah.
And kind of fixed him a little bit. But like I like that they brought some of the characters back that had died a long time ago. They brought Black Tom back and stuff like that. But yeah, like it's basically just saying now we can just continually like bring in the characters back because we don't care.
And that's and to me that's the problem is that when that is the potential solution, death means nothing. And so when you see a character, if a character dies in a story, it should be emotional. You know, there should be some kind of emotional reaction, whether you're cheering because it's the bad guy, yay, the bad guy got his, his due, or whether you're crying because the good guy, one of the good guys, got it. It should be emotionally powerful. But when death means nothing, you see Batman, oh, Batman's dead. Yeah, well, he'll be back.
Right.
It doesn't mean anything. So yeah, I think it has to. I think your first answer is I think it has to serve the story. If you've read any of if you've read any length of my body of work, you know that I'm not afraid to kill characters in my stories, but it serves the story. It should serve the story rather than be there for. I mean, so I hear people say, "Well, you shouldn't kill a character for an emotional response." Well, I mean,
isn't that why you kill a character?
That's why. Yeah, that is why you care.
So if you kill off a character and it creates an emotional response to the reader as well as the protagonist, then it's gonna like send that character, or could potentially have or a valid reason to send that character into a particular direction.
Yes.
You know what I mean? So even if you kill it for emotional reasons, you're killing it for emotional reasons that feed the plot, that feed the storyline.
Absolutely. Yeah, absolutely. A couple other comments here. David says exactly talking about the Coke Zero. He says, ironically, I am by nature a late person, but unfortunately my day job is mostly EMEA, Eastern and Central time zone people. So many times by 5 p.m., I am 10 hours in front of a PC. Ugh. Oh my goodness. That's you might have to just like shift your clock some. And
is that you're 10 hours in front of a PC because of work? Is that my understanding?
Yeah.
So there's not much you can do about that, really, I guess.
Yeah.
Like here, I know for a fact that
David's in California.
Right. But if I'm in front, like say 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 1, 2, 3, I'm like 9 hours or so. That's why I watch, like I'll listen to a TV show, right? Like I've seen Community, I've seen Psych, I've seen
Community's good. Psych is good.
Right now I'm watching Agatha Christie's Poirot.
That's good.
Yeah, just because I can listen to the detective stories in the background.
It's weird.
Right?
I don't watch a lot of TV, but I've seen all those you mentioned.
But I cycle through that. The Office, Community, Psych, and I'm rewatching NCIS. We're listening to it really, because my father-in-law used to watch it like a lot, and so we used to watch it together.
NCIS. You should try Monk. Have you seen Monk?
I just started it again.
Okay.
Yes.
Yeah.
I haven't watched it in a while, but for 3 years in art school, I was cycling through like 5 or 6 different shows, and I would just put it on to run. I already know what's going on. I don't need to pay attention to it. I can just listen. I know and just kind of laugh because I know what's going on.
Yeah.
Right. But
Well, see, that's an advantage you artists have, right? Because you can draw, look up at the screen occasionally, and keep
Right.
drawing. I can't watch or listen to something else and write. You know what I
that
mean?
makes sense. That
I
actually makes
can't.
sense.
I can't watch a television show. I can't watch my good buddy Steven listens to Stephen Butler listens to a lot of radio shows. I can't listen to radio shows and write, right? Because I have to have my brain thinking about. Yeah. Now I can do other stuff. Don't get me wrong. I mean, I can watch a show and work on prepping the files for Kablam or something like
Right.
that. So I can do, but I cannot write and watch a show.
So
This is why
do you listen to
music.
something?
Oh yeah, music all the time, dude.
Worded music or just like instrumental stuff?
Oh no, worded music.
Okay.
Yeah. I can listen to the words. Usually it's stuff that I know and really like.
Right.
Also, some of it depends on what kind of mood I'm in, what kind of story mood I'm in.
Yeah.
I like, of course, you've seen enough of us. I like a lot of kind of hard driving action stuff. So I listen to a lot of the Led Zeppelin,
Nice.
classic Aerosmith, that kind of stuff.
See, what I listen to is directly proportionate to what I'm drawing.
Yeah.
So if, even like inking in obsoletes, when I'm inking in a fight scene, it's fight music. So like I literally have a folder called fight music.
Do you really?
It's like Rage Against the Machine, stuff that's gonna get me angry and just get me like razz to keep going, right? And if it's stuff that's like if I know it's gonna be like a couple pages of just like dialogue or whatever, then it's a little more mellow stuff. You know
Sure,
what I mean?
yeah.
You know,
So slapper of inks is like when you're angry, right?
Yeah.
So do you slap them when you're angry too? You don't
Oh,
slap
and I
them,
mean,
right?
I hope not, because I'll break my iPad if I do that right now.
David says a great example for me is the death of Hunter Rose. I don't know Hunter Rose. He's going to get something. He must have it. Who is Hunter Rose? Oh, look at that. That's Grendel. Okay.
Hunter Rose.
You know what? Confession. I can't reach another thing.
Please tell
Grendel
me.
is something that I missed I know, Jose. I'm ducking. I know. But I've been picking them up in the cheat boxes because I know it is a hole in my reading experience.
One of my favorite one of my favorite graphic novels I ever got was one that a friend of mine was passing back and forth. Literally the same graphic novel. I gave it to him for Christmas. He gave it to me the Christmas next year. We kept passing it back and forth. That was actually The Crow, right? James
that's
The Crow,
good.
Right? After that, the one that I picked up myself that I won't ever part with, it's buried in my long boxes, is Grendel Warchild. That is my man.
Yeah,
that is such great storytelling.
I do realize that is a hole in my reading, and I am working on trying to correct that. There was that one, and there was what's the other one that I've been trying to fix? It's another independent from the 60s, from the 80s.
Nice.
What is it? I used to have a big stack here the other day, but my wife made me clean up.
Yeah, I think the only one I haven't completely read, David, have you read, was it Grendel? I think it's Prime Adventures. It's the more recent one.
There you go. Because I have them all, including the Kamiko Primer 2
Nice.
And the 3-issue black and white. Wow, that is impressive. He goes Matt Wagner, Grendel. Yeah, of course, you guys telling me.
Mage was a good one too.
Yeah. Total Sense, talking about writing and the music, I think. Let's see here. And Willie says Mage. David says Pick Up the Devil by the Deed graphic novel. Yeah. I'm finding a lot of these in the cheat boxes around here, as you might imagine. A lot of that stuff people just don't, know about. And 80s independent comics are you can find so many good ones in there.
the antique shops, like in Arcadia, which is like
Yep.
a half hour north of me, like
Yeah.
where my mother-in-law lives. That town is literally just a bunch of antique shops. And there was a big antique mall in Pennsylvania where we lived. I lived to go in there because there was a couple spots that had like these boxes full of comic books.
Yeah. Yeah, we've got some antique shops here as well, but the one that I go to a lot, they think pretty highly of their comic books, and I look at them and I'm like, yeah, I don't think this is worth this.
Right.
You know, I see a lot of the stuff they've got like $10 on it. I'm like, this is a dollar book. Well, you know, we don't make the prices. It's one of those. It's an antique shop where they have sections that people bring in, and they have like a consignment place. You know what I mean? Agent Cub said a character's death should mean something, just as if I died in real life, but it doesn't. And I agree. Yeah, it should. You know, these are just fictional stories, but if someone dies, I got a memory today that a good high school buddy of mine had died 5 years ago. Now, this was a good middle school and high school friend of mine. And now I hadn't talked to the guy in several years when he died, but when he died, it came as a big shock. And and the thing about it is, it really affected me. And I kept asking my wife, I'm like, I haven't talked to him in probably 15, 20 years. Why is it affecting me this way? And she said, because he was such a good friend in your middle school and high school years. That's what you remember. And it did. It affected me greatly. And, you know, it's somebody that I hadn't seen in years. And that's what comics should do. If you got a death in comics, that's what a death in comics should do.
I've had that same experience 2 weeks ago.
Really?
A guy like in my 20s, like I moved into Elkhart, Indiana.
I think you sent me a message about that.
And he passed away, and like he's 5 years younger than me, right? And he passed away. He had a quadruple bypass by this point, and just kind of keeled over. But he wasn't the nicest guy.
Yeah.
And we ended up having a falling out several years ago.
Yeah.
But like it still hit me hard because he was the one that introduced me to all the friends I still talk to.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like he was the one that brought us all together.
He was pivotal, even though he wasn't.
Right.
Yeah. And you know, I think the other thing, and you know, you and I have this in common. I think one of the things that death should do is cause you to start thinking about your own mortality.
Yeah.
Now, clearly in the real world, that often happens, right? Someone close to you dies, or someone that in your sphere dies, and you start thinking, okay, well, you know, I'm not beyond death. What's out there for me? What's next? Right. You know, and of course, I say you and I, you know, we share faith. So we have that in common, and we know, right? Or that's what's there for me, right? But I believe that even when you know, death causes you to stop and examine a little bit, you know. And I think a comic book death should do the same thing.
I agree with that. Yeah. I felt that way, and like everyone knew it was coming, but I felt that way during the whole storyline of the death of Wolverine, right?
Yeah.
I thought it was cool the way they had him die. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
The build up to it was a lot, but like I read towards the end so that I can catch the ending, right? And I was like, okay, that definitely put me in the feels. You know what I mean? When I watched it, that was cool. Or what was the other one? Like when Superman died, I felt that one. Like I got a little choked up on that one, and I'm not even a Superman fan, but like just knowing like just the way it was written and the way they explained that, like it was everything all it was, like nothing held back, just, you know what I mean? And that definitely put, you know what I mean, put you in your emotions.
Davis says, yes, I have all the Mage stuff. We got to get Dave on here. Dave, you got to get back to color, and you did jump on these streams with us. Agent Cub says, Roland, are all those Silverline comics behind you? Is that
Don't
your
admit
warehouse?
that if it is. Don't admit that.
It's not. It is not. In fact, this rack here, that one, you can see that there's right here. There's a gap right here. This wall, this whole rack, that's my Marvel comics. Okay, my DC comics are right here. These two rows here. You can't see the bottom, but I just have tubs or have
Unsorted comics. Don't lie.
What's that?
Is that the unsorted comics?
Yeah, there's a lot. Yes, it is, because I'm just gonna reach down and see. I can just picking up a bunch of. Yeah, I'm also working on Warlord. That's the other one I'm working on.
That looks like Warlord.
Yeah, Warlord, and there's Justice Machine down there. That's not that, but anyway. And I've got some. These are absolutely unsorted.
Not Commandy, nice.
Commandy, yeah. So those are unsorted. You can't see, well, maybe you can see those two boxes there.
Yep.
Of course, this is all artwork here that these 4 racks that people send me, and they'll eventually all of them be in our Kickstarters. Like this is,
was it Pages?
Yeah. This is Cray artwork by Steven and Ken Branch. That's the Steven cover he did for our Kickstarter recently. And this is the cover that Dean and Tommy did.
That's cool.
Yeah. So I have all this here for when we do Kickstarters. Now those 2 boxes right there, those are what I call my archives. Okay. Whenever we have, and I learned this at Malibu, whenever we do something, I take out 2 copies and I stick them in the archives. And those are just kind of sealed, never to be opened kind of things, I should probably put them in a safe somewhere or get a storage room somewhere. I don't know. But basically everything that Silverline does goes in those 2 boxes. A lot of the stuff that I've done as well is in there, right? So that's all in there. Now, over here, you can't see. Okay, so there's a row at the bottom. So my Malibu comics take up about 3 boxes. And then all of the next up to the Silverline, this row right here, all of those are independent comics. I have more independent comics than I have DC comics. Okay. I do not have more. What's that?
I can't say the same.
Yeah.
Not yet.
I do not have more independent comics than Marvel comics yet. I'm working on it. Right. But those rows up there are my Silverline warehouse.
I see the Bea blank.
Yes.
Yep.
That you did that one, right?
Oh, has that got something on it? I just see that it's a blank.
I can't remember. I have to look at it. I think,
is that the one with the teddy bear? I did one with the teddy bear for you.
Yeah. Which is why I have it up there. I didn't realize you can't really see it, but yeah, it's that one right there. But yeah, so now the last 2 boxes over here, those are actually that's not true. The last 3 boxes are so only the Silverline warehouse. As you see those 2 stacks up there, that's Divinity 3 and Trumps 4.
Oh, nice.
That haven't been put in the boxes yet. And then Silverline Team Up is where the inventory stops. And then these 3 boxes over here, those are like I when I go to shows, I'll buy back issues of like if I find my stuff in the cheap boxes, I'll buy them, like for 50 cents or $1. I'll pick it up and I'll stick it in there, and then we can use that for stretch goals and things like that. We did the mystery boxes, and I included a signed copy of something old in all the mystery boxes at Christmas, and I pulled those out of there. I got things like
we did sketch covers for as well, right?
Say again.
The mystery boxes; those are the ones we did the sketch covers for.
Yes, sir. Yeah, and there was there was a sketch cover in every one of the mystery boxes. So, let's see. Were you at MegaCon? No, I was not at MegaCon. That's a bit of a sore spot for me. The short version is this. When I first moved here, the former owners of MegaCon invited me every year. I reached out to them first, said, "Hey, I just moved into town. Here's my resume, blah, blah, blah. I would love to come to the show." They invited me every year. When they sold the show to the current owners. I reached out to them and they changed things up. They said, "Oh, we don't do that anymore. You have to apply." So I said, "Not a big deal. I get it. You're a big organization. I will go through your process." And I applied for year after year after year after year. And I guess they've been doing it about 6 years now. And I don't make the cut anymore. Which I'm not sure why. When I look at some of the people that show up at the shows, I'm not. They made it, and I
they
didn't.
made the cut.
But I don't know the answer to that. And so that's okay. I'll be at Olo this this Saturday, which you don't have to spend $30 to park. I don't know. Did you hear about that, Jose?
There's $30.
$30 at MegaCon a day.
What?
Yes. So there's all kind of rumors going around. I will not spread the rumors, but I do know this: the convention charges $20. Right? The convention center charges $20. In the previous years, if you drove up and said, "Hey, I'm with MegaCon," you would get your parking $10 a day. This year, however, parking was $30 a day. Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow.
$30. So just think, if you went 4 days, even I can do this kind of math. 30, 60, that's $120 just to park. Yeah, I didn't go to MegaCon.
Nope. I'm glad I didn't.
I will be at Olo, which the parking is free at Olo. And, and I think you pay, I think it's $8 to get in. So yeah, the only thing missing will be these, great big movie stars that are there that, I don't care about anyway, but that's me.
Right.
So
yeah, I am always curious of what the artists are there. I tend to skip the famous people. Although I reached out to was it North Carolina Fayetteville Con?
yeah,
Because I have family in Fayetteville. One of my friends
That's
is
the way
a
to do
really close friend, and my kids call him uncle. You know what I mean? That's
Yeah.
how close of family
Yeah.
we are. And I was like, bro, there's a Fayetteville Con near you, because he lives near Fayetteville. I'm like, if I'm able to get up there to do the show, will you be my Uber driver and my provider of foods? He's like, I will do whatever you need me to do. And I'm like, awesome. So I reached out to him. I said, hey, this is the stuff I've worked on. This is who I am. These are my credentials. I went to school, you know what I mean, at Huber School.
yeah.
And still haven't heard from him.
So give them some time. One
Yeah.
thing, let me make a suggestion. One of the things you may do, because I will do this very same thing, Jose, is that see if they'll give you a guest badge. Not just you, but a guest badge. And then the people who is your Uber driver, you can always say, hey, as my way of saying thank you, here's your guest badge. You can come in.
Right.
You can always give that guest badge to different people. If it's a multi-day show, hey, here's your guest badge. You can come with me today, and you can come with me the next day, that kind of thing. Usually I will reach out to shows like I've reached out to Nashville because my daughter lives in Nashville, and I can go up there and I can stay with her. I reached out to Memphis because my sister lives in Memphis. They've got one coming up in September that I'm trying to go to.
Which one?
I can't remember what it's called. I'm sorry.
I know Memphis has Anime Blues Con.
It's not that one. No.
I was gonna say, because I almost went to that one a few years ago because my friend Martheus was part of
Martheus Wade?
Yeah.
Cool. Yeah, I know him.
Yeah, he and I worked on a book together.
Really? What'd you do?
Some stuff for my friend Nick. For Pickle Press.
Okay.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, and then I went to Consequential, which is a convention he helped put on. You know what I mean? He helped organize and everything.
Yeah.
And we were there, not necessarily on the day, but we were there when they told all their friends and whatnot that they were pregnant with their son Anakin.
Oh, that's pretty cool.
Yeah.
That's cool.
Yeah, it was fun.
Dave says parking at WonderCon was $20. Agent said, you do a lot of conventions a year? I'll start with you, Jose.
I'm trying. So this year I'm really pushing to do more conventions. Before it was like, I'm just going to do this one locally. But my wife is just a huge supporter of me, as an artist, and
makes all the difference in the world.
It really does. But she also pushes me, because I don't have that pushy kind of
Yeah.
bone in me. And so she's like, listen, if you want to do show somewhere else, like, don't be afraid because of my work and what we do. If you want to do other shows, you need to reach out to them and try
Yeah.
to get into those shows so that you can. We'll figure out travel and stay and whatnot.
Mhm.
Even if it means like me bringing the whole family, we'll bring the whole family and we'll hang out at the pool or something while you go do a show. And which is what we normally do. And I love having my family there with me. Like
Yeah.
for all the local shows I'm doing, my 15-year-old daughter tables with me.
Yeah, that's cool.
Usually I get her a table and I get me a table.
Oh, wow,
If I
cool.
do shows somewhere else, like out of town, like going to Olo and whatnot, that's mostly just me.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But for a lot of the local stuff, like there's another one in May, the end of May, I think, where she wanted to do it. So she's like, Dad, I want to do this convention. It's at a library in Sarasota. I'm like, okay, well, I didn't know anything about it. And if you want to do it, you get the paperwork so we can fill it out. You fill out your
Nice.
paperwork and I'll help you submit it back in. So she actually got it set up for us to table there.
Sweet.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So she's trying to do stuff like she does stickers and sketch cards, and
Yeah.
normally she outsells me at a convention.
It's funny.
I'll be honest.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, that's funny. Stephen Butler says his daughter does the same thing. She outsells him a lot at shows. For me, it varies, tends to vary from year to year. I some of it is how, like you said, being aggressive. Some of it is how aggressive I am. Like I have done as many as about 12 conventions in a year. And when I say 12 conventions, though, let's keep it on. I'm not talking about 12 megacons or 12 San Diego Comic Cons. We may mean 2 of those, and then all of the others are some of the smaller ones.
Especially if you're paying for it, right?
Yes.
I paid a table, so
Yeah.
I did have a guy who said he wanted to be my agent and get me into shows and whatnot. He's like, oh, we'll give me a price, and like, okay, listen, if you can get me money for it, great. But my goal for this first year, for this particular year right now, I don't care about getting paid. I just want a table. Because then the promoters and whatnot can see that what I'm bringing to the table, see what I'm bringing, see what I'm doing for their shows, see how, I'm doing sketches for people. I'm, selling comic books. I love talking to people about the process.
Yeah.
I have a 11x17 portfolio just to show the process from ink, pencils to inks.
Nice.
You know what I mean? And then inks to colors. Like I love talking about the process. I love what I do. Like that's one of my hashtags I put on everything. I love what I do. Yeah. So I try to do, the big cons. If I can get in for free, great. If not, then I'll pay for them. But I'm only going to do a couple of those. But like the one day cons, like locally around me, I'll do those all day.
Yeah, for me, paying for a show like MegaCon, which is a local one, that's out of the question. I can't afford that.
Right.
I won't sell enough because people. What's happened, and this is I'm not being judgmental here. It's just kind of this is the way it's happened over the years. These big conventions, people no longer go for as much for the comics, and they go for the stars, and so. What happens is they get around to you and they go, oh, cool, comics. Oh, and then you say, hey, and they're like, oh, cool. How much is it? It's $5. Oh, well, I just spent, $400
I just spent $40 getting a picture and a signature with blah, blah, blah.
I don't have any money for your $5 book. And so I'd have to sell an awful lot of stuff to pay for a show like MegaCon. And I just, these days, there's not enough people there for the comics to make it really worth my while. The smaller shows, on the other hand, like Olo, they have a tendency to bring in people who are looking for comic books and they're looking for that kind of stuff.
It's promoted as a comic book show, right? Like, I think the Olo one says comic and collectibles.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean?
Yep. And this is one of the reasons why we're such big fans of the Daytona Beach Comic Con.
That was a great show.
It is a comic show. I tell people a lot of times that, if you look at the big show that just happened here locally, and you look at the Daytona Beach Comic Con. Now I didn't go this year, so I can't speak with authority. But I know the last time that I went, there were more comic books at Daytona Beach Comic Con than there were at the big one in Orlando. Yeah. There were still comic book people there at the big one. Don't get me wrong, but there were more trinkets and knickknacks and Etsy shop stuff than comic books. Happy Jack Savinka says, glad I found the stream. Chill chatting, love it. I'm getting lots of work done. Glad
You're welcome.
That's right. You're welcome. Glad we can help you get work done as you are burning the midnight oil.
That's
right. I will go back to, let's go back to Agent Cub here. So Agent, if you know any show promoters, if you know people who put on a show, tell them, send them our way. Tell them that me and Jose would love to come do their show. We don't have a big ask. But yeah, put them in touch with us. The one thing I would like to do is I do a lot of the local stuff, right? You can, you mentioned Tampa, that's June 3rd. I'll be over in Tampa June 3rd. I did last year. I went down to Martin Piero's show. What's the name of that? PalmCon. And, so that was down
West Palm?
Near Fort Lauderdale.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah.
And then, the Daytona Beach. So, and Olo is in Orlando. So a lot of them kind of local to me here. I would really like to get, I would like to go do something in Georgia. I would like to do something in North Carolina and South Carolina, Alabama. I would like to get out a little bit. And last year I did Pennsylvania, my first ever show in Pennsylvania. Three Rivers Comic Con invited me up. I did.
Awesome.
Three Rivers. Is that what it's called?
It used to be called PitCon.
Okay, yeah.
Yeah.
I did Three Rivers Comic Con and my first time ever in Pennsylvania. And I had a blast. Scott and Rory from Steam Patriots were there as well. And
I've done PitCon. That was fun.
It was fun. Yeah, I had a good time. I would, now I will say this: they invited me and covered expenses. So
Nice.
they didn't. When people ask me, it's like no, they didn't put money in my pocket.
Right.
But they said, we got you covered. Here's your table. Here, you're good. And so, yeah, I'm like, man, yeah, it's my first time ever in Pennsylvania. So I would love to do like Indiana, Illinois, a lot of these states that I've never been to.
I'll give you a couple names after the show. Because there's one in the town that I grew up in. I told you my friend that that introduced me to all my friends. There's one in that town, Elkhart, Indiana. Called Hall of Hero Con.
Cool.
Yeah, and I was just talking to my best friend and talking to him about it, and he's like, "Yeah, I worked with the guy's wife." I was like, "Dude, I know the guy. Like, I've actually talked to him about his because before it was Hall of Hero museum, because he's got a museum. It looks like the Hall of Justice.
Oh, that's cool.
Sadly, it got broken into a couple weeks ago." And he lost quite a few things. I thought about reaching out to him, and I mean, I'm not rich and famous and whatnot, but I'd be glad to send him some comics and some original art. You know what I mean?
Donate something to help him recoup. Yeah, absolutely.
So I want to reach out to him about it, and but yeah, he puts on a show in my hometown basically. So I'm gonna see if I can get him to at least give me a table. Hey, this is where I'm from. Can you hook a homeboy up with a?
There you go. Yeah.
I'm not asking for expenses or travel money. I'll do it on my own. But
and the other thing there, if it's a place like that, you could probably find a place to stay because you know people.
I have family. All my family lives there.
Yeah. Aiden says fan art sells very well. I know this will be the first year I won't be selling fan art. Good for you. Absolutely.
Nice. Yeah.
I will not go off on it because it's way too late. We need to bring this to a close. Agent, I am not a fan of fan art at all. You will hear me speak nastily of it. But we won't go off on it.
Fan art. If I'm doing like Superman, Batman, whatever, right? But I have that as well as my original art. You know what I mean? Like stuff that my own, the books that I've worked on, or original art of stuff that I've done from school or whatever. You know what I mean?
Thing that bothers me most, then we'll move on. The thing that bothers me most is the artists that have nothing but fan art.
That's fair.
When you sit there and there's this whole wall of prints, which are illegal, right? This whole wall of prints of nothing but Marvel and DC characters, and there's
Right.
nothing there original of their own. That's what bothers me.
That's fair. I know that guy. Tallest freaking wall there is. I know that guy.
Yeah. Agent says that Albuquerque Comic Con might be willing to have you out if you're willing to travel that far. Psh, I would travel that far. In fact, I might even have a place to stay in Albuquerque.
Right. I actually have a friend that lives nearby. That.
There you go. So Agent, tell them about us. Jose and I would be, if they would be, Jose and I would split a room.
Right.
Yeah. So the Agent, I'm going to assume that you're not too far from Albuquerque. I don't know if you're a Weird Al Yankovic fan, but you need to Google and watch the Albuquerque short movie by Weird Al Yankovic. Be prepared to laugh. It's about a 10-minute long video. It's one of his songs. It's an original song. But it is so I love that kind of goofy music, and I stumbled upon it, and it is so funny. I made my son sit down and watch it with me. And I tried to make my wife sit down and watch it. She's like, "Okay, that's enough." I'm like, "No, it's got 10 more minutes," or whatever. Adam says, "Love Weird Al's Albuquerque."
Nice.
Yeah, it is. I stumbled upon it, and now it's just one of those things that I have to.
I can't say I've watched it, but that's going to happen after the stream.
As soon as we're done, you're going to go to Google or you're going to go to YouTube, and you're going to look for Weird Al's Albuquerque, and it's an animated. It's a little 10-minute animated thing. Oh my gosh, it is so funny. All right. Well, my clock says 12:17. I meant to wrap this up at midnight. Jose, any final thoughts?
Whatever your hours of opportunity are for doing artwork or doing any work. I mean, not just like physical artwork, but like writing or whatever. You know what I mean? Just prioritize your time so you get to do more work during that time.
Yeah.
Like I said, I tend to shut the lights off and shut everything away from me, so that all that's focused is what's in front of me.
Yeah. Yeah. And that's what I would say as well, is that whatever works best for you. And don't ever, if you're a morning person, don't let the night owls like us convince you that that's wrong. If you're a night owl, don't let the morning folks convince you that you're wrong. Because whatever ultimately works best for you. Thank you, Adam. Have a good night as well. Okay, so let's see. Tomorrow night, Wednesday Wham, they are going to reveal, it says no title yet. They're going to reveal the cover reveal. Steam Patriots guys have been doing contests, and they're going to reveal their covers and the winners. So you guys tune in tomorrow night. That's 8 p.m. Eastern time. Sunday night, which is my normal night, we'll be talking about thought balloons in comics. Thought balloons have become passé. We're going to talk about why they're not, where they should not be passé. They belong in comic books. Next week, Jose, Tim is still on vacation, but we're going to talk about animal-based heroes. So,
anthropomorphic or just. I'm in either way. It doesn't matter.
We might, I was gonna say we might open it up to that. That's not what I meant, but we'll talk about that. Animal-based heroes. Let me run through these.
That's half the cast of Tank Girl. That's half the cast of Commandy.
Yeah. Thanks, Roland Jose, for hosting. It was great. Thank you, Dave.
Thanks, Dave.
Glad you could join us. Happy Jack says, have a good night. Agent says, good show, Roland. You need to do more shows like this, meaning you have to be on the show and maybe one other guest. Well, thank you, Agent. I appreciate that. Tuesday, this is a little bit late for me. So the other thing that and Jose knows this, I have a Tuesday night class. It's a long running. I've been doing it for about 8 years now. And so it's a little tough for me to jump out of my class and run into, and it's an online class. But it's a little tough for me to jump out of my class and run straight into the Tuesday shows. And Tim does a bang up job on the Tuesday nights. So Tim, if you're listening, your vacation is well deserved, but you're coming back. So
it's 8:00 when we start the show for Tim, right? Because he's in Oregon. Oregon?
Yeah, he's in Oregon.
Right.
Yeah.
But another reason why Burning the Midnight Oil works for me is because I have kids until 8 o'clock. I can't
Yep.
necessarily jump on then.
Right.
So the 11 o'clock stream for me is ideal.
Perfect. Yeah. So you're on the West Coast time slot,
Yep.
but you're on the East.
Sure am.
All right, you guys. We'll see you next time, and remember to
Make mine
make
Silverline.
Silverline. All right. Good night, everyone.
I'm April Hunter. Make mine Silverline.
All right.